We'll go back onto the Cavaliers, right? And there's been a thing that's been said by ESPN's Bobby Marks. He says the Cavs should be considered a legitimate threat to sign LeBron James when he becomes a free agent. Not just that, the Miz also like did a little
Yeah.
thing, and he was like, LeBron, we need you in Cleveland as well. And there's a lot that I think a lot of people are talking about here, but my thing is, I think were you the one that said you think LeBron will stay in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't used to think that, but I've had a change of heart. I think LeBron might stay in LA, but also he could go wherever Bronny goes. And there has been a lot of talk about Bronny and different colleges, and one of which we'll get into a little bit later, who have out of nowhere become the favorites to sign him. But where do you think LeBron James plays next season? Because if what I'm saying is if he re-signs with the Los Angeles Lakers, he can come back and do like a $10 million deal, a $15 million deal. I think everyone expects him to sign much cheaper this time. Then once you do that, then you save about $20 million from your contract. You've got Westbrook's $47 million expiring deal, Kendrick Nunn's $5 million expiring deal, Lonnie Walker's $7 million expiring deal, and you're probably going to be moving THT for like a Pat Bev or someone like that, right? At least they hope. At the end of the day, you could low-key have like $50 million of cap space to play around with. You could bring in a near-max guy and also sign good, solid role players as well. And that Lakers team could, maybe it starts to look a little bit more bright, you know what I mean? So does he stay with the Lakers, or do you think he goes to the Cavaliers maybe?
I don't think in a perfect world he goes to the Cavs. I still don't think he's going to do that. At this part of his career, I think what he's going to end up doing is he's going to do a short term extension. Because at the end of the day, I think right now LA is his perfect world because he's doing a lot of sponsorships, a lot of endorsements. He's getting the shoes a lot more creative. He's doing movies. He's doing a lot of shows. He's doing a lot of stuff in LA,
You telling
right?
me he's going to sign with the Clippers?
No, 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 no. They
Imagine.
would. Oh, they'd be ecstatic. Oh yeah, the Clippers fans would lose their mind if that happened. But he's not. He's not going anywhere now. Now, what I will say, the caveat, I do think he's going to do a short term deal because I do think he wants to play with his son. He wants to see where his son is going, right? And this is where he puts a lot of, and this is where Bron is really, really strategic because Bron knows one, he wants his son to get drafted. And what better way to get your son drafted is to let the league know that I'm going to structure my contract where my contract ends the same year as my son is projected to get drafted, right? And you know how earlier they was talking about Brown might not make it. He might be a late second rounder. But you see how all of that narrative changed the moment his extensions start coming. Then all of a sudden these college offers start coming into
Yep.
these big marquee colleges. Then all of a sudden that G League thing, oh, we're not going to the G League. We going straight to college because they understand now, right? Braun is making sure Bronny gets the right attention because they don't want him to be second. They want him to get first round. They want to make sure Bronny has enough attention where he can get in. This is why, in my mind, this is why he avoided the G League thing,
Yeah.
right? If he had a little bit more recognition, I think he would have went that route, but he's trying to build that up because now Bronny has to, he has to build up for his son to make sure Bronny gets in. Now, what's going to end up happening though, when Bronny gets drafted, that's the team I think Bron is going to end up going to, which is why I think how Bron is doing this is so strategic because now the Lakers is going to have to figure out a way to get his son, and it's because it's going to be 30 teams who's literally is going to draft him just off the mindset they know if they get Bronny, they get Bron too.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the Lakers are not going to be able to get Bronny. I don't think they have got no assets to be able to. That's first and foremost. Second of all, if LeBron wanted to do that, it'd only be a 1 year deal. But what I'm saying is, what he could do is go to Cleveland on a 2 year deal, one of them being a player option, right? Bronny goes to Ohio State or some Cleveland college, whatever it may be. Either way, you're still going to get so much like headlines and reporting around you, whatever it may be, right? The Cleveland Cavaliers have some of the most assets in the game if they wanted to get Bronny. Let's just say Bronny is projected to go at 25. The Cavaliers don't have their first round pick this year because Indiana will have it. If the Cavaliers wanted to get like 18 though to make sure they damn well got Bronny, goddamn, do they have assets? You know, you still got Colin Sexton, which whatever's going on with there, right? And then you've got players like, if you bring in LeBron James, how much do you need Isaac Okoro? You don't. You really don't. How much do you need Karis LeVert? You probably don't need him either, really. You're looking at those type of guys who you can 100% trade if you were to, guarantee this. Because not only would you, let's just say, if you were to trade Karis LeVert and Isaac Okoro and maybe a future first for pick 15, yes, that is probably a very, very big overpay. And whoever gets that deal is 100% winning. But at the same time, you take Bronny at 15, and not only do you take Bronny, but you bring in LeBron frickin' James. That's, I think, the mindset the Cavaliers might be going into next season. If LeBron plays with Bronny, I think Bronny could still be a superstar in the league. Like, he could develop into one day with his mentorship and that from his dad. He could, or there could be the other alternative that maybe he needs to spread his wings, and maybe it would be better for him to get away from LeBron. I'm not sure how we're going to look at that. But at the end of the day, that is an alternative. I want to know what you think about that before I tell you who's the favorite to sign Bronny.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think for Bronny's sake, it would be in his best interest to play with Bron. Here's why, right? What Bron does very, very well is that he takes a beating when it comes to the media, publicity, anything. Like, if anything goes wrong, we will not hesitate to dog Bron, right? Now, what Bron does for Bronny is all of that attention goes straight to Bron. Yes, Bronny's going to get some moments where be like he's overrated, he's not, et cetera, et cetera. But all that damage is going straight to Bron. And Bron knows that. And that's his point. That would be his instance of doing that. So Bronny can actually develop. Now, because if Bronny's on his own, he's already going to have the reputation. You're Bron's son, so you have to be great. Like, Bron was an all-time player. He's going to be the all-time leader in scoring. And we've already seen Jordan's sons. They literally didn't even make the league. So you're literally the prophecy for Bron. You're the heir to the throne. As cliche as that is.
Also got to mention too, and I know people will hate to say this, but if Bron gets another chip or two, what is stopping him from being the GOAT? Other than his shitty-ass political opinions. But what is stopping LeBron James from being the GOAT, if that is the case? All-time leading scoring, 5 or 6 championships, which he could very well win another one with Cleveland if he elected to go to Cleveland. What is stopping him? There is not a whole lot.
He's statistically the best all-around player we ever saw. Like, LeBron, the only thing you can technically say he don't have is a defensive player of the year, but he literally got robbed the year Marc Gasol got the defensive player of the year. That 4-year Miami stretch, that was literally people feared LeBron James on defense. Like, if you seen him behind you on a fast break, you knew that was not going in that basket. Literally, Bron was OP in Miami. Yeah.
It's weird how he just randomly turned into the greatest defender in the league. And as soon as he got back to Cleveland, he stopped again. I don't know how that happened. Like, how did he... And I don't know if it was a 4-year stretch. I would say it was more 2012 and 2013 where he just turned into the GOAT defender and then just stopped. I don't know how. But first of all, Marc Gasol winning is a load of crap. Didn't Marc Gasol make the second team as well?
Yep.
Yeah, that was just a ploy to not have LeBron be the defensive player of the year. I think we all know that. But yeah, and if LeBron James, imagine the team that he would be able to build in Cleveland. Like you'd have LeBron James at the 1, right? So this is offense, by the way. This is not defense because, of course, you wouldn't have Garland guarding the 2 on defense. But on offense, it'd be LeBron at the 1 as the main point forward, Darius Garland at the 2, Markkanen at the 3, Mobley at the 4, Jarrett Allen at the 5. There is not a single thing that starting 5 does not have. You name something, and I will tell you that starting 5 has everything. Everything. It does not miss anything. Maybe perimeter defense. Maybe. But you're still, at the end of the day, LeBron James, if you want to tell him that the only thing you have to do defensively is be good on the perimeter, LeBron's doing it. You know what I mean? I guess I know Markkanen, Garland, whatever, but at the end of the day, that is a championship winning team. Defensively, it would be insane. Off the bench, you would still have amazing defenders, amazing depth players like Ricky Rubio, Kevin Love. Off that bench is already insane as it is. Karis LeVert thus far would still be on that team. So would Isaac Okoro. Robin Lopez there as well. If you don't upgrade any of those guys, that's like Cleveland could legitimately still upgrade that backup center position by bringing in like a JaVale McGee type of veteran player. That is a lot to kind of go off. I don't want to hear no one telling me that Cleveland team could not win the championship.